Throughout the history of the NBA, great players have suffered major injuries but still played through those injuries for the sake of the team, whether it's to win a few extra games in the regular season or it's the postseason, it's playoff time and you don't want to let your team down because your ultimate goal is to win a championship. However, it seems like that doesn't apply to Luka Doncic because I'm seeing reports from the fan base and opposition alike that Luka Doncic is faking it, that someone who's playing 40 minutes, dang near 40 minutes a game, obviously isn't hurt. Obviously, he's fine. The injury isn't that bad, and he's just playing bad. So we're going to break all those claims down and see why every other great player is rewarded for playing through injury, why Luka Doncic is seeing criticism time and time again for playing through these injuries. How's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started, if you guys could just like this video, that would be great for me. Let's try to get to 400 likes. I'd appreciate that a lot. But like I said, man, I've been seeing all over Twitter, all over social media in general, that Luka Doncic is faking his injury. It's not that serious. He's exaggerating it. I'm seeing it called gamesmanship. That's something I learned this year. I didn't know that was a thing, of faking an injury or downplaying something just in case you don't play well, or whatever the definition is. And I just think that's ridiculous. As Mavericks fans, we see Luka Doncic night in and night out. We've seen this man play every single game since he got to the league. We know what to expect from Luka Doncic. And we saw during the Clippers during the Clippers series, that wasn't the best series for Luka Doncic. He still played big in some games, still contributed, and we still won that series. But it wasn't his normal playoff self. And so far, the first 3 games of the Oklahoma City Thunder series, Luka Doncic has been a little bit rough, had a rough game 1, bounced back in games 2 and 3, still had good games, but to his own standards, it wasn't really up to Luka Doncic's par. But for whatever reason, that's not the case. We're not saying he's having bad games because of injuries. He's having bad games because he's just a bad player. That's the narrative going around, and I just don't get it. And the first thing we're going to look at right here from the opposition, Luka calls Dort a top 3 defender in the NBA. Makes sense why he's faking an injury before they're playing us. Before they're playing us, like, that makes no sense. So yeah, before we play the Oklahoma City Thunder, Luka Doncic is seriously going around saying, "Oh yeah, Lou Dort's a great defender. I always have a problem, playing against him. He's great." Yeah, all in the sake of just in case if I play bad, just in case if we get knocked out in this round. Yeah, I'm gonna just hype up Lou Dort. Meanwhile, we have proof that every time they match up, Lou Dort and Luka Doncic is averaging a 31-point triple-double while playing against Lou Dort. So, yeah, I understand he is a great defender. He does some things well, even though I'm seeing a lot of flopping and just very crazy fouls, a lot of hand-checking so far. But I'll give Lou Dort his props. He is a good defender. But Luka is legitimately playing with an injury. We see the bloody knees almost every single night. We saw in the first round of the playoffs against the Clippers where Russell Westbrook was knocking him down. We saw even PJ Tucker was getting kind of physical when they switched him on him. We saw in this series where SGA elbowed Luka Doncic while going up. We've seen Lou Dort literally drag Luka Doncic down at least twice. We're seeing players just knock into Luka. Luka Doncic has been taking a lot of physicality over the last few months, and we know about the reports. He has a right knee sprain. He has an ankle soreness. These are real. No faking. It just doesn't make sense to me why people would legitimately think that a player of Luka Doncic's stature has to use excuses when we know the type of player Luka Doncic is in the playoffs. Let's check this out right here. These are Luka Doncic's playoff stats from 2019 all the way to 2023. And as you can see, he's averaging 27 points a game so far in the playoffs, the lowest he's ever averaged. He's shooting, what is that, 26%? He's shooting 26% from 3, the lowest percentage he has ever shot in the playoffs ever. And we know Luka Doncic to be a playoff riser. He rises to the occasion. He goes crazy for 30 bombs, 40 bombs, and he's a mad genius with that. And even just from the floor, even though I love watching him attack the basket with those turnaround fadeaways, he's only shooting 41% from the floor. Again, his career low from the floor for the playoffs. So to say that Luka Doncic is faking an injury is just absurd. We see what's going on. We see him limping up and down the court, not able to really play at 100% speed. I mean, Luka Doncic plays slow. That's his play style. But even to his own standards, we see him limping up and down, wincing a whole lot. He's telling us the knee's not getting any better. It's not like, oh, yeah, it's sore today in a few games. Oh, no, yeah, I'm fine. No. Since the playoffs started, he has told us the knee's not getting better. I'm still hurt. I'm not 100%. I'm trying. I don't want to let Kyrie down. And yet he still goes out there to fight every single game. He refuses to rest. I think he said himself, if I'm able to walk, I'm able to play. And he's going to go out there. He's going to play. play, and we may not like the efficiency. We may not like that he's not 100%, but you got to give the man credit that he's out there fighting every single night. It's the playoffs. We know what this team is capable of when everyone's playing great, and Luka wants to be a part of that. He wants to help the team win more games. We got a lot of guys on this roster that's their first time in the playoffs, like PJ Washington, who's having a great playoff run so far. We have guys with experience like Daniel Gafford. He's been in the playoffs maybe once or twice, who is having a little bit of a slow start, and Dante Exum, who's had a lot of experience overseas, who is just non-existent right now. So to say that Luka Doncic is faking an injury to make up for the fact that he's playing bad just literally doesn't make sense. And his own teammates will vouch for Luka Doncic with this right here. I asked PJ Washington about Luka Doncic's toughness, saying he's super tough. Luka's a special player, so I mean he's going to get that each and every night. Guys try to get into his head, try to be physical with him, but obviously it doesn't really do too much. He's a superstar, and he's doing what a superstar does. And like I said in the intro, Kobe Bryant played through injury. Michael Jordan played through injury and illness. I mean, there's a lot of other players that have great players that have played through injury that when the game is on the line, when the season's on the line, your playoff is on the line, you got to go out there and give it your all, sacrificing your body. Luka Doncic's injury, his right knee sprain, is something that will leave you out 4 to 6 weeks. Luka Doncic is having like a day, maybe 2 days in between games to actually rest, and he's going back out there, still averaging about 40 minutes a game. He's trying to do it all, trying to give his best to this team. As Mavericks fans, we've seen Luka Doncic in the past few playoff series, in the past few years, of how he rises to the occasion, how he fights, how he just is a killer in the playoffs. And we know what we're seeing now isn't up to Luka Doncic's standards, that obviously that injury is a problem. I've mentioned it many times on this channel. When you are a three-point shooter, when you are shooting from that far away, a lot of it comes from your legs. You got to get that lift off. And his step-back threes, you got to think about that weight shifting, and if he doesn't have enough strength to lift, that three is either going to be an air ball or just hit the front of the rim, and that's it. And we've seen that happen with Luka Doncic. Like I said, he's shooting like 26% from three for the playoffs. That's horrible. That's abysmal. And yet he still tries. He's still trying to fight through that injury. But yeah, sure, Luka Doncic is faking it. None of this is real. It's all imagination. And that's just wild to me, bro. But check this out, man. Luka Doncic was asked about a knee injury he might have suffered during a game, saying, "Injury is when you can't play. When you're hurt, you can play with pain. It's in my Real Madrid DNA." Now, that ain't a cold statement. It's in his DNA. Come on, Luka Doncic is a warrior. He's a fighter. He's not injured. He's just hurt. If he's able to get up and down the court, if he's able to walk on his own, Luka Doncic says, yeah, I'm in there for my teammates. I'm trying to win right now. And if it's not now, it's going to be the next few years. And best believe, if somehow, God forbid, knock on wood, if this time next year Luka Doncic is hurt, guess what? He's still going to be in the game. He's still going to play. Right knee sprain's not holding him out. Ankle soreness isn't holding him out. Luka Doncic is a fighter. He's a champion. He's not making up excuses. He took accountability he took accountability in the first series against the Clippers when he wasn't playing well, saying, I'm letting Kyrie down. Kyrie had a 40-point bomb, and we still lost one of those games. And Luka said, I'm letting him down. And what does he do? He fights through it. He wants to be one of the greats. He wants to win a championship for Dallas and for himself and for this team. And so he's putting his body on the line. Again, we've seen the bloody knees. We've seen him falling over and slow to get up. This isn't fake. This isn't gamesmanship or whatever you call it. This is legit injury that Luka Doncic is fighting through. And for anybody who thinks he's faking it, you just don't know ball. You're probably just trolling, or you're a hater and you're just upset that you don't have a player as great as Luka Doncic on your team. And if I were you, I'd be upset too. But like I said, a lot of great players throughout history have gone through these trials and tribulations, and they don't get any flack thrown their way. First example right here. Never forget when Kobe's right arm was injured and he started shooting with his left instead of leaving the game. They don't make playoffs like Kobe anymore. Like, come on. Kobe Bryant is a player that we have seen throughout the later half of his career after the championships were already won. They have just injury after injury after injury. And many times we've seen him get hurt and he's still in the game. I think there was a story where he dislocated a finger, just popped it back in and kept playing. Right there, his shooting arm was dislocated or whatever. He had to switch to his left instead of leaving the game. And he was praised for it. It was never, oh, Kobe just faking it. He's just saying all this stuff. So in case if he gets knocked out or if he loses a few games, he's got an excuse. No one ever said that. No one ever made an excuse for Kobe because Kobe never made an excuse for himself. And that's the truth. Luka Doncic does not make excuses for himself. He's telling you exactly what's going on. But if that's not enough, I got another great player for you. A player that many people call the GOAT of basketball. MJ scored 38 on this night 22 years ago, pushing the Bulls to a Game 5 win and eventually another ring. This was the flu game. where Michael Jordan was gassed. And the entire game, people saw this man hunched over, playing slow, still was able to put up a good game to win, and eventually leading to a ring. And the flu game is an infamous day in basketball history, and it's celebrated. It's a sign of just strength and determination that even when you got the flu, you still fight on. We've seen it with Dirk as well. When the Miami Heat were making fun of Dirk for actually having the flu, what did Dirk do? He came back and won that series and won that whole championship. But when Luka does it, it's gamesmanship. He's making up excuses, and I just don't get it. But something a little bit more recent, which didn't necessarily lead to a championship, but one thing that I still found very crazy was this. Blake Griffin knee brace is crazy. Son out here with one of these. Blake Griffin in the 2017-2018 NBA season in the playoffs, in the first round against the Bucks, he was legit out there with a leg brace for the Detroit Pistons. Blake Griffin, who was part of Lob City Clippers, was out there with a leg brace, with a full-on cast on his leg in a playoff game. And he was giving it his all. No one said he was making up excuses. No one said that, oh, he's just faking it. But again, when it's Luka Doncic, he's faking it. It's not real. It's gamesmanship or whatever you want to call it. But the truth of the matter is Luka Doncic is hurt. He is injured. He's not 100%. We know. Real fans know what Luka Doncic looks like when he's 100% ready to go. Right now, we're getting probably 60% Luka, and I don't know if it's going to get any better. I don't know if it's going to get any worse. I'm fine with it staying exactly how it is or getting better. But if I had to choose, hey, keep it where it is because the team's getting involved. I mean, PJ stepping up in a big way. Derrick Lively, you may not think he's doing great. He's doing fantastic. His plus-minus is incredible right now because he's playing great defense. Kyrie is still able to operate within Luka Doncic and within the team itself. The team's looking great. We're up 2-1 against Oklahoma City Thunder. We're going to go live again tomorrow for Game 4. Hopefully we can get another dub in Dallas. It is going to be huge. But that's all I got for you guys today. Make sure you check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. Consider becoming a channel member. We are doing another free jersey giveaway. The only way to enter our giveaway is to become a channel member of any tier. But until next time, y'all take care. Peace.